Lando, congratulations. That went perfectly, didn't it? Right from the launch?
It did, yeah. Yeah, no, good launch. Always a bit nervous at the launch. It can be a bit of a lottery at times, but our launches lately have been very strong. The team are doing a lot of work on trying to make sure we're good at the launches, because it can win you the race and lose you a race, So we seem to be on top of it, and we need to keep that up. But from that point onwards, I had clean air, clean track, and I could just push and do what I wanted to do. So car's working well. I feel like I'm driving well and on top of things. And when both of those things go together, you can have a great race.
Can you take us into the cockpit? Does it feel like, that update you guys brought to Austria a few years ago, where it just transformed McLaren's season, and then from there it went on? From where you were in Melbourne, 30, 40 seconds off at the end, versus now, what does it feel like to you?
In some ways, some of it's just the car works better, but there are certainly things and characteristics from the rear of the car that you just feel more comfortable to hit the throttle pedal a bit more aggressively. It's also more predictable. So as a driver, when you're trying things, you're able to kind of find the sweet spot in a better way. Before than previously this year, you kind of push and you make a big mistake, and then you're a bit afraid to ever get close to that limit again. So now it seems to be a bit more like, and also the temperatures maybe plays a part of it. It's right on the edge of sliding rather than being very snappy and unpredictable. And those are also conditions I normally perform well in. But at the same time, the car just has a good rear now. It gives us confidence as drivers. So you can just get on the throttle, you can give it a bit of gas, and that's always a nice thing to have.
And the team have talked about all of the updates and the work they've done. Tell me about you. What have you done in the last 3-4 weeks to learn a bit more about the systems? Surely having this time off has given you time to think, process the first 3 weekends a bit more?
Yeah, no, quite a bit. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I've had a bad start to the year. It doesn't look like it's been a good start for me. And
China
my results
you didn't start.
Exactly. So, things have not looked great from the outside, and I think it's easy to think that, but I still feel like I've been doing a good job. We've just had so many problems and so many issues, and this is the first weekend where things have just gone as I wanted. So I feel like I've done a good job, but I've also, the amount of laps and I drove turn one on the simulator probably about, feels like over 1,000 times, and now it's my best car on the track. So I've worked hard to improve on my things and making sure I'm getting everything out of it, and so far so good.
Right, the World Championship defense is on. I'll let you get to the lift.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, mate.
You battled Max as much as you could out there, but ultimately in the end just couldn't keep the place. So how much do you want to change for quali later? How much can you change for quali later to try and make this car better for you this weekend?
I'm hoping that we can change a lot. I think, yesterday I lost 3 tenths just because the software wasn't working properly. So I lost I'm driving the same, but losing down the straights. And in the race, it seemed that continued from qualifying. So I think they're going to have to do some software changes or something to make sure that doesn't happen going into qualifying. And hopefully we'll have slightly better deployment. And the setup is in the wrong place. So definitely we'll make some big changes going to qualifying.
You are one of the few drivers who enjoy leaving the marker behind motorsport, like Alex Zanardi did in his life. What's the greatest lesson he has left you thinking about him?
Obviously, I only heard just before the minute silence. Already tapped into the news, whatever. So sad to hear his passing, but I mean he was remarkable. For one, he was just a really lovely guy, and then just with his resilience, the way he came back, how he always maintained a real positive attitude and accomplished so much. He's a real inspiration for so many, and I think he did things the right way.
Hi Max, you had a great battle there for a while with Lewis, backwards and forwards, but overall, how pleased are you with the race and the way the updates have worked, and what does that give you for the rest of the weekend?
Yeah, I think once we had our issues a little bit sorted, because start was again not good, there was something similar to China that happened, and then after that, out of the last corner in lap 1, I had no battery release, so that was then making it, of course, a lot more difficult for me. But yeah, after that, once I was in clean air, actually the car felt not too bad. I mean, I was catching again one Mercedes, so yeah, the pace was all right, even though I think there's still quite a lot of room for improvement also from our side. The car is still not where I want it to be, and Also in the low speed corners, the car is jumping a lot, which is a bit awkward. But yeah, we just keep going.
Thank you.
Max, did you waste too much time in the fight with Lewis, but you finally back fighting? Can you summarize?
I mean, I had to let him by, but he doesn't come by. So we lose 4 seconds because he just stays behind me. That's where we wasted our time. I don't know what else I could have done there. So that's a bit of a shame. But after that, I think once I was in clean air, the pace was actually quite okay. Still a lot of things that I think we have to work on because in the low speed the car is jumping a lot, which is costing me quite a lot of grip.
Grazie, Max. Hi George, promoted to P4 because of the track limits violation for Kimi, so it is a place further forward, but how much happier are you today with the car you had, and what have you learned that you can take into this afternoon to try and start further up?
Not much happier, to be honest. As I said yesterday, I struggle on this track. It's very low grip. There's a couple of tracks on the calendar that are a bit like this here, Brazil, Zandvoort. I just don't know what it is. I just sort of struggle when the car's at four-wheel sliding. But yeah, P4, 2 places forward, but obviously the improvements from McLaren, Ferrari and also Red Bull are a little bit daunting, so that's the main thing.
It looks like the rest of the field have caught up with their development, so it makes those starts even more important now. Talk me through it. Like you mentioned on Thursday that it's a bigger problem than fixing straight away, so how difficult are the starts? What's going on and what's the fix?
Well, I mean, we've been doing work over the break, and you know, on my side, for once, I did everything right with the procedures. So we need to check what happened. The grip was very low, probably lower than we expected. And then after that, I was really frustrated. I didn't even drive well. I did a lot of mistakes. I got track limits and which is something that I need to avoid. And but this weekend definitely has been more difficult, but was expected, with everyone bringing big upgrades. And we just gotta try to maximize the result. And now we'll focus on the qualifying.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey Fernando, I know these afternoons are a little bit tricky these days, but did it feel like there were some improvements anywhere, even with the Honda pairing? Good luck with that, thanks. Hey Alex, well, you were obviously up against it after the penalty and dropping back down the grid. How did the car feel, and then what did you manage to learn after that pit stop when you made a few tweaks? Good luck with that, thanks.
It looks like a good result. You got the last point today. You fought hard after yesterday's qualifying. What can you take from this into qualifying later? What sort of car have you got target-wise?
I think overall positive, to get this point, because this was the best we could hope from today. We're finishing quite far away from Lewis ahead, and I'm glad we could get out of one Red Bull. I think for me personally, it's mainly in terms of feeling and just getting the traction. I've been suffering since the first lap in practice. Today I had a good start, good position, and after that was just about putting good laps. But I'm still not feeling great, so hopefully we can make a step forward. I think on the flip side, we seem to have a good pace advantage over the rest of the midfield. So it's a lot of positives to take, but still feel there is more to unlock.
You were probably expecting a bit of a tough afternoon in the sprint because it's quite hard to understand what you can make progress in. How was the car out there, and are you optimistic? Best luck with that work. Thanks. Hey Valtteri, well, how was that out there? Because it looked like you were on the back foot maybe from the beginning.
Congratulations, Andrea. I know it's 4.5 weeks ago, but I remember when Oscar finished the Japanese Grand Prix, he said, once we start these Grand Prix, we're not bad at them. And that's really been carried on. Perfect start and a 1-2.
I want to, but before we talk about that, allow me please to remember and pay tribute to Alex Zanardi. A very special man, driver, athlete, a real symbol and example of what it means to love life, an inspiration for everyone. So this victory is for him. And having said that, it's good to start races, it's good to start sprints, it's good to bring upgrades so that we can become more and more competitive. It was important to confirm that the upgrades work like we have seen yesterday, over a single lap. Today was important to see them in long runs and even hot conditions. So nobody knew exactly what the degradation would have been, but it looks like the car has retained good characteristics from a degradation point of view. So good indications so far, but everyone very close. I think Lando might have benefited from being the lead car, cleaner. Possibly whoever was first today could have won the sprint. So I think everyone close, and we will see more in a few hours in qualifying.
Well, we will see then. Thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you. Well, we have our first non-Mercedes winner of 2026. I mean, you knew it was coming. Did you expect it so soon?
Well, we knew that we are a little bit out of sync with our upgrades that are coming from Montreal. But we were hoping that we were able to hold on now in terms of pure lap times. We do. But obviously, if you have such a bad getaway, which wasn't at all Kimi's fault, it was a glitch on our side, it's difficult.
Okay, so it's simply that. It's simply that the others have caught up. It's not a consequence of any of the rule tweaks that we've seen between Japan and here. That hasn't taken any of your advantage away?
No, not at all. I think it's a pure, this is going to be a development race through the year, and whoever brings a few tenths earlier is going to have the advantage.
Okay. Just finally, Toto, I want to ask you about the man who really transcended motorsport in many ways, an Italian driver who raced for Williams. I'm sure, Alex, you knew Alex Zanardi well, as all of us did in the paddock. What were your thoughts on his passing today?
Well, when I came up as a young driver, Zanardi was one of my heroes. I remember the Eau Rouge hunt, and then going stateside and just dominating for such a long time in Indy cars, and then touring cars in BMW for so many years, and then his career as an Olympian and as a world champion. And he just had a life with so much tragedy. Also at the end with his accident on the bicycle, but he always came up head high. Always with a smile, never complaining. At least that was what I saw. So we lost a great racer.
Thank you very much, Toto. See you later.
Yeah, we have listened to post-sprint driver interviews, at least most of them that we had in our video. Firstly, I want to tell about a little bit my disappointment about this sprint race, my disappointment about the new 2026 regulations of the Formula 1, and disappointment about racing like this. In my opinion, I think the Formula 1 is losing too much with this kind of racing, with this kind of boring races. To be honest, I think yesterday qualifying was a little bit much more interesting than today's sprint race. With the new regulations after 1 month of FIA, I think the cars improved a little bit much more. They are a little bit faster than that we had on Japanese Grand Prix, but I think it's not enough with these cars and with these regulations. We had just some overtakes at the beginning of the race. We had a good fight with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. Some overtakes with the Carlos Sainz, the Kimi Antonelli's mistake at the beginning of the race, at the start of the race, and after that I think just a race neutralized to be in a virtual safety car. We didn't had any overtake or any excited any moment to be let's say excited about this race. But at the end of the day, we like Formula 1, and we are going to watch. But the races are going to be boring, more boring than this one. And if we came to say something about the interviews, as I said, with these new regulations, there is going to be always problems like Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton at the qualifying and also at the race today, as he said, he had a problem with his software, and maybe they will replace, or maybe to give some update to their software, and to work the car properly as Lewis Hamilton wants. And I think to hear this kind of problems, errors, I think it's not good for the Formula One, as I said. And Max Verstappen was complaining a little bit about with his car, as you heard. He said that like at the turns, he was struggling. He was struggling with this car, and in the other hand, they had a lot of upgrades, like Ferrari, McLaren, and the other teams. Mercedes didn't have. Just Toto said like they are a little bit out of synchronization with the upgrades like the other teams they had, but in Melbourne, in Canada, they are going to bring updates, and maybe after those upgrades we are going to see much more better Mercedes, like this one for today. Lando Norris won the race. I think it was very well deserved race win for him. And actually, for the couple of hours, we are going to have also qualifying, and as always in a classic in our channel, we are going to have qualifying press conference, and also the interviews of the qualifying that we are going to have in Formula One. Until the qualifying, be safe. Just don't forget to like this video, to comment it, and to subscribe to the channel.